how to draw slime. So for this week's challenge, I will show you how to make it look like there is slime on your paper. Ah!
Now when we look at slime and how it behaves as it starts to drip, you can see the edges kind of look like a wavy line. And the portions of the slime that are closest to any light source are lighter in value, lighter in color, because we see that little shiny right there, shiny right there. And the parts that are further away from the light source are darker in value because of the shadow that it creates on the other side. So we will take those observations into account when we draw our slime today. So you will need a sheet of paper, and it doesn't have to be fancy drawing paper. I just have a sheet of notebook paper, pencil. You could use markers if you wanted. You could use color pencils if you'd like, crayons, paint, whatever you prefer. The method is going to be pretty much the same. So to start out, I'll show you how to draw with a pencil. And you're just going to draw a simple wavy line. Keep the lengths and thicknesses varied, make them different. And I close it up to now it looks like a very organic shape. So remember, on the side that is closest to the light source, I'm going to pretend that my light is over here. I'm going to make that shiny surface by drawing this little crescent moon on the same side of each drip. Now the shadow is going to be on the other side, and I will just take my pencil and follow that curve as well. You always want your shadows and your highlights to follow the shape that it's on. So to add a little more shading to where it doesn't look like it's see-through on my paper, transparent, I'm going to go back and color quickly with the pencil. And this part doesn't have to be super neat because we will do some smudging and erasing. Okay, so I'm going to take my finger and I will smudge it to where it looks more solid. And then I'll go back with my eraser and clean up the edges. Now if I want to make my shadows darker, I'll just go back, follow those edges again. Make this come out a little bit more. Okay, and then I could even smudge a little bit more to make it more smooth and transition, changing from light to dark. And then I could even go and outline that edge, just the edge. For my shadows, I like to put 3 different values, a light, a medium, and a dark, to complete it. Now to clean up my highlights or my little shinies, I'll just go and take my pencil, eraser, and define the edges just a little bit more. Okay, and you can make it look even more 3D by creating what's called a cast shadow on whatever surface it is on. That shadow is always going to be much lighter than the darkest value of the shadow on your object. So it kind of looks like it's coming up off the page a little bit. And that is how you draw it with a pencil. Now, to try with a marker, draw the same little, well, another little drip with a wavy line of your slime. Go ahead and draw your highlight. And just know that your shadow is going to be on the other side of that. So I'm going to use a blue marker. I'll go ahead and outline my highlights. And then outline my entire slime. And with markers, I like to just color with straight lines. Well, I guess they don't have to be perfectly straight, but I like to make them side by side, parallel to each other. Just makes it look cleaner on paper, because markers can be very streaky if you color like you're coloring with a crayon. Now, just like with the pencil, when I added more of the same art medium on top, I layered it. It makes it look darker. There's different ways to make the value darker, but this is just one. Okay. And if I wanted to create a cast shadow, I could take a gray marker and just outline that slime. Okay, so that is slime with a marker. Now to create slime with color pencil, another little drip pattern. Draw your highlights. And there's barely one there. Okay, so let's see, what color will I use? I think I will stick with this green. So I need to sharpen that pencil. So go ahead and outline your highlights to keep them defined and clean. And then you want to go ahead and color, keep it solid. Don't want to scribble scrabble and leave a bunch of static. Sometimes you have to go back and redefine your edges. If you color outside the lines, it's okay. Now, if you ever close up your highlights, your shinies, by accident, you can take a white color pencil and color really hard over it, and it won't make it white, but it will definitely make it lighter in value to where you can tell it's supposed to be a highlight that way. Okay, so for your shadows, again, color harder on that side. Put multiple layers of the same art medium, the same color pencil to make it look darker. Or you could take a darker color pencil and color on top. Or you could even take a gray or a black. But I wouldn't color too hard too fast in a black or a gray. I would just do a little bit at a time till you're satisfied with how dark it is. Otherwise it goes straight to black and it doesn't really change in value very well. Okay, so to create the cast shadow of whatever my slime is on, I'm going to take a black color pencil, but color really lightly. kind of looks gray, like a dark gray. Now you want to take your time with doing this. I'm doing mine in a rush, so you're not sitting here watching a really long video, but you could definitely make yours look a whole lot nicer than mine. You take your time and put a lot of work into it. Okay, so I guess then, let's see. This one I kind of colored into it, but if I take this light, I can color on it. It won't turn it completely white, but it definitely lighten it to where you can tell it's a highlight. So that is how you can draw slime using a pencil, marker, and color pencil. Now if you want to add that slime to an object, like say an apple for instance. Ooh, look at that lighting. Look at those highlights and shadows. That's really nice. You can see a difference. So the light is coming from this side, so the light is going to be closest. The highlight will be the closest to the light, and then your shadow will be on the opposite side. So if I wanted to draw this apple with some slime, or, oh, it doesn't have to be slime. Actually, it could be caramel. Caramel apples in the fall time. I would sketch out. I always start out with very basic geometric shapes, and then you can fill it in, fine tune it after, and erase the parts of your lines that you don't want to keep. Apple bottom. Okay, now for your slime, I always like to make it bigger than my actual object. Or caramel. It's a caramel apple. And then go back and erase the lines from my object that are inside the slime lines, organic shape, so it doesn't look like it's see-through, transparent, translucent. Now if you want it to be translucent, transparent, you can keep it like that. All right, so don't forget your highlights. And on the other side will be your shadows. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna do a caramel. Let's test out these colors. That's like a reddish brown. That's getting closer. This one really needs to be sharpened, but yeah, we'll do that. And then maybe another brown for the shadows. Okay, so I'm using a color pencil. Oh. I should have sharpened this beforehand. Sorry for the camera shake. Okay, so then I want to color a little bit harder to make the shadows on the opposite side of the light source. And take a darker brown. And then finally, some little cast shadows. But you only want to do your cast shadow on your object, otherwise you got a floating shadow over there. Okay, I'm gonna go over my highlights with a little white, so I colored into them. And then I could go ahead and color my apple too. Let's see. What apple do I want? It will be a sour apple. Remember, you can have highlights and shadows on your object that it's dripping down as well. Go up in that cast shadow there. Same rules for shadows and highlights. And that is how you draw slime, or caramel in this instance, on an object.
Well, I hope you had fun learning how to make things look slimy. I can't wait to see what you draw with slime on it. See you next time. Bye.